What's poppin', everybody? This is Saber4 with the TCG meta video that I usually do around this period. It's only going to be around 2 weeks before the 8th generation of Pokemon TCG comes before us. The TCG Sword and Shield set is going to come out, and this is when I usually talk about the meta right now and what the new set is going to bring us. So I could easily talk about the Tag Team GXs, primarily Arceus, Dialga Palkia from Cosmic Eclipse, what it did to us, and I'll get to that. But I want to give emphasis to the trainer engines that played such a particular role in these last few months, I would say. First and foremost, of course, the Tag Call engine. Tag Call letting you grab Tag Team GX Pokemon, two of them, or just grab a bunch of those tag team trainer supporters, and most of them made a really big impact in their own way. From Malo and Lana giving that extra healing to the big tag team GXs and letting you switch, from Guzma and Hala, of course, being the pretty much the engine of decks like Arceus Keldeo, Arceus with Ultra Necrozma, Busted Deck and Expanded, and all of the other interactions it can make with Giratina and what have you. And what else? Cynthia with Caitlyn, that was pretty useful too, letting you grab a supporter and functioning as a little draw card, easily searchable with Tack Call, and you've got a little bit of a consistency engine going there too. Not just letting you grab Pokemon, but letting you get a supporter that lets you draw cards if you need that. And the Roxy Wheezing engine, I guess you could say. My god, that one. With discarding the Weezings, placing damage counters, and then putting down the Mimikyu, negating your opponent's GX abilities, rendering stuff like Xurkitree, rendering stuff like Keldeo GX useless, and then easily meeting the condition with Giratina Garchomp and doing 240, for just 3 energy. 2 if you do the combo right with the Karate build, or, double Dragon energy and expanded. Which brings us to Arceus Dialga Palkia. Obviously it wouldn't be a TCG meta video before Sword and Shield if I didn't talk about this guy. It really has been the biggest card from Cosmic Eclipse. I mean, I knew it was going to be a great card when I first reviewed it. It was just so obvious when you look at the effects, you look at the attacks, busted stuff all over the place. And I was happy, to be honest, because there hasn't really been any very good Arceus card since forever. I mean, the Arceus cards, when they came out in the Arceus, Platinum set, they had some good stuff going for them, but they were never really anything overpowered or groundbreaking that took the meta by storm. So I was happy they gave us such a good Arceus card. But my god, did this become so overpowered. It's crazy, crazy good. And the worst part is, it's basically the biggest nightmare. Like, it puts all of these Stage 2, regular Stage 2 decks in their coffin for good. Stage 2 decks, of course, normally, they're not very good. They haven't been very good for quite a while. Since the Next Destinies set came out, pretty much, they've been, like, less of a priority, to say the least. But when you have a Pokemon with an effect that basically lets itself kill them easily. Arceus can do 180 damage after he uses his GX attack, and then they get an additional prize. It's basically the worst nightmare for those kinds of Pokemon. You want your Stage 2s when you get them out to be able to at least take one hit and just do something. You don't want them to die in one shot and give 2 prizes. Anyway, I digress. So I guess that's the biggest general thing that comes to my mind about these last few months where we had Cosmic Eclipse. Pretty much just Arceus Dialga Palkia being overpowered and destroying everything. I mean, other decks have been still pretty good and expanded too, like Mewtwo. The fire decks, of course, they gained some good help with Braixen Charizard, yeah, sounds about right, and what have you. That's probably going to change with the Sword and Shield set, but they've been the usual decks, Tag Team GX decks, with Arceus being at the front as the most dominant one, I would say. Which brings us to the Sword and Shield set and what that's going to do at the meta. I would like to say that it would have been more of the same, just new Pokemon with large HP, continuing the trend of high HP giant Pokemon, but it's gonna be a lot different. I guess they thought that, if Yu-Gi-Oh is gonna do drastic shit, they need to do drastic stuff too, like and change the game up around. With the new rules, you can't play a supporter on your first turn. That's going to affect basically all of our decks that we have on TCG Online. Like all of the decks you've built so far and you just have them around there, all of your decks, they basically got to change or get tweaked. That's basically what it's going to come down to. The no fairy Pokemon and, the poison Pokemon being changed into darkness Pokemon from psychic type Pokemon in the TCG. Those kinds of things, I guess they matter, but not on the level of not being able to play supporters in your first turn. This is basically game changing in itself. It's not just a little bit of variation in cards. Now, the Sword and Shield set is aware, ironically, of how crucial this is, and it just so happens it's going to give us the Quick Ball in that set. That's basically a card that does exactly the same thing as Nest Ball, lets you get a basic Pokemon, but you grab it into the hand as opposed to putting it instantly on the bench. So this means that you can easily search out the Dedenne GX and other Pokemon and get their effects off. Kind of like how Cherish Ball works. You grab the Dedenne and then you can play it down. This is going to work for all basic Pokemon though. The cost is you just got to discard one card, but it's pretty fair I suppose. Ultra Ball, you got to discard two and you can grab any Pokemon. So that would be the biggest card I would say from the Sword and Shield set, item wise at least, and meta wise. For every deck that's going to need to use and take advantage of. Because remember, if you can't play supporters on the first turn, you can't rely on things like Oak and Elm and stuff like Brigitte and Expanded to get you a basic Pokemon. You're going to have to use stuff like Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, Quick Ball, Net Ball, Dive Ball, all of these items that just get you Pokemon instantly, through items, not supporters. As with the case with most sets, certain types get particular support, and in this case, I would say Metal and Water get some good stuff. Metal gets a sort of Metal Patch equivalent to, Dark Patch and Aqua Patch. You can grab a Metal Energy from your discard pile and attach it to your Pokemon. And Water basically gets this new Water Moth bug thing. I don't remember the name, and I'm not even gonna bother trying to think about it. But it essentially is a Rain Dance energy acceleration for water Pokemon, at least from what I read the English translation on Poke Beach. But it's a stage 1, which means it's a lot faster than Blastoise, but I think it only works specifically for water Pokemon. So that balances it out a little bit, but it's still going to be really good. It's going to work wonders with the new Lapras V, I was about to say Lapras GX, and the Lapras VMAX with 320 HP. That's going to do lots of damage for the water energies on it. And the VMAX Pokemon. I guess this is going to be the biggest thing, technically, outside of the new rules. The new mechanic in this case is going to be these VMAX Pokemon, which is Tag Team GX Pokemon that evolved, pretty much. Lots more HP. On top of that, they give out 3 prizes, but they're evolved Pokemon. Now, the V Pokemon and the VMAX Pokemon, they don't have any GX attacks, but they are pretty strong. And eventually, I feel like they're going to take over, as it's usually the case. Probably not immediately. There probably will be decks like Lapras and Snorlax that are going to be very, very strong. But I don't think they have enough support just yet. They probably have enough to work, I guess. But the Tag Team GXs still have most of the support because they've been out for longer. They'll need to come out with the V-Ball and all of this stuff that gives them specific edges over GX Pokemon. Another Pokemon that I really think is going to be very, very dangerous and people are kind of overlooking in favor of Snorlax. Stonejourner VMAX, this golem big rock guy. He can do a lot of damage and heal itself, and if you combine this with some of the healing cards we already have, like the Lana Mallow combo and all that stuff, it becomes a very, very powerful tank with 330 HP. It's crazy strong. And in Expanded, of course, it can use strong energy and all the other support there. Besides that, it's the obvious Snorlax VMAX and the other stuff I just mentioned. There's a lot of new different cards that do a lot of good stuff. I can't go over all of them in a video like this. I have to wait for the set review, for the best card set review. I suppose the general takeaway is that we're finally gonna see a drastic change for the TCG, for better or for worse, with the new rule changes, of course, the V Pokemon and the new mechanics, since this is a new generation, 8th gen of TCG. I got pretty used to the rule changes from Black and White, to be honest, Legendary Treasures onwards, where you can play everything, but you can't attack first turn. I thought it had a good balance, but they're going to change it again. Excluding all this, when it comes to the regular ass Pokemon like the Stage 2s and Stage 1s in this set, as always, there's a few of them that stand out. They've got some good attacks and they do some good stuff, but they're going to be held back by being just regular Stage 2s. As always, if you want to be successful, it's just easier to just try and focus on the big HP Pokemon where it's obvious they have all of the support. As for some specific decks that I think are going to be pretty good, to be honest, I'm not quite sure because a lot of stuff really gets hurt by the fact that you can't play supporters next turn. The decks that need to use Guzma Hala, like the Arceus decks and Expanded, those are probably going to get affected, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to stop them because they're still pretty busted. I think they're just going to have to change their engine, like their trainer engine and their draw engine, how it works, and they'll still try and get the double dragon energy as early as possible. Same thing with fire. They can't play welder when they play first, but is that really going to affect them too much? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know if they're as flexible to change as Arceus would be, but we'll have to wait and see. And you know what? I think with the power and large HP of Lapras and the bug water moth thing that can power it up, I think maybe fire Pokemon are going to finally start dying out because Lapras is going to be able to kill them easily and, take hits with the 320 HP. Snorlax, of course, is going to be great, but I think people are going to quickly realize that Stonejourner can kill it, and it can also tank and do a lot of busted stuff. So Stonejourner VMAX, I think in the end is going to be a great response, and people are going to lean towards it since it can kill the Snorlax. But of course, there's always methods for get rid of your weakness. Alright guys, so I think this has been my rant. Sword and Shield is going to bring some changes. As usual with the TCG sets, there's always something, I guess, to change things up a little bit, even if it stays more of the same with the big ass HP Pokemon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, and share this video with your friends. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about what the best decks are going to be? How this was going to affect the current best decks? What decks are you looking forward to use? How will you be building decks with the new rules for Sword and Shield? We're all going to go through the same ride with these changes at the end of the day. So, Saberwolf94, thank you guys for watching, and we'll say.